Happy New Year, everyone. The year is over now. We have 2022 here. So I'm going to start a little series of my top 10s over the past 13 months of collecting. I started in late November of 2020, and so I'm just going to roll that, last month of 2020 into 2021's collecting. So today's category will be my top 10 out of production castings. Majority of my collection are out of production castings, mostly Kyoshos, because I've rationalized that they're only going to get more expensive unless they're such popular cars that another brand redoes them. So it would be nice if another brand tackled these cars again. This is made by Ace Model. It's a set from the Mad Max series, Mad Max 2, I believe. So these are resin models, and they're just detailed to an amazing of a level, so they have the thin windows, the metal wiper blades, the printing on the tires, and for me it's just the fact that these are from the movie that I enjoyed as a kid, so this definitely entered that out of production thing. And yes, these were very expensive, and it's probably impossible for you to even find these anymore. I know the very first set that had the full chin spoiler here, I have never seen that come up for sale on eBay at any price. So I was lucky enough to get these. So, okay, I'm only obviously talking about this car. This is the enemy car. I have no idea. I don't even remember that car, so I don't really care about it. All right, this thing's kind of too big, so I'm gonna get this out of the way here. Okay, we can let these things spin individually. So here's a Kyosho that I reviewed relatively recently, actually. It's a Alfa Romeo Carabo. It's the concept car that led to the Lamborghini Countach. And miraculously, this thing has a perfect finish. This is an old model. It should have paint rash, but it doesn't, and so I'm very happy to have it. And I waited patiently for more than a year to find this on eBay before I was willing to pay the price that I paid for it. Alright, so that one's set. And since that was the predecessor to the Countach, I'll throw up this Kyosho Countach. I have many Kyosho Countaches, but this one I found perusing one of my local stores, and I've never seen any knowledge about this vehicle. Most Kyoshos don't have colorful interiors. This one does. Most Kyoshos don't have painted mirrors. This one does. And it's got gold wheels with the holes. It's just got a lot of details, and I know nothing about this. I thought it must maybe been a custom painted one, but the fact that it is press fit to, it is screwed together. Never mind. This could be a custom job for all I know. Maybe someone took this apart and painted this, but if anyone knows the story, please let me know. I've never seen a Kyosho with the Walter Wolf Canadian flags on it either. So, and also the pinstriping on the corners is so tight. I think that had to have been done by Kyosho and not a custom job. So that's what makes me think this might have been actually made by Kyosho. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always mistaken in this hobby. Okay, so let's get that out. Here's a mention I have to throw in there is UCC Coffee. UCC Coffee is a canned coffee in Japan. It seems to be big business because other brands, they give these free cars away with a can or two of coffee. And so considering, this thing was free, was for somebody, it's actually amazingly well done. I had to pay for this, of course, and but I'm still happy to have it. In the grand scheme of, scale models, it's not very good, but I associate everything with a price, and so I think of it, if it was free, this is actually very good. So they have other cars, they have more modern cars and stuff like that. You can search my channel for UCC. Let's see, Minichamps. I discovered these guys relatively midway through my collecting. I've always known about Minichamps. I used to have a 1/12 scale McLaren F1 from those guys, but it got paint rash, so I sold it. So anyways, these 164 models that they do are quite well done. They have the reflective mirrors and the colorful interior in this case. They seem to be above the level of Kyosho. And now that the word on the street is they're coming back into 164, I can only hope that they actually improve upon this model here But even if they didn't improve and just released the old castings again, they're still better than, you know, a lot of other brands. So, okay, this is a McLaren SLR if you're not aware of what car this is. Another extinct brand that unfortunately is not coming back to my knowledge is brain fart there, Biante. I actually forgot who made this, but yeah, Biantes are, at least the classic cars really do it for me. They have all the details that modern brands should have, but this brand went under years ago, I guess. It's got plastic lights actually behind these light covers. You can see the lights back there. It has, not that I care, but it does have a detailed underbottom there. It actually tells you Biante and it tells you the car. It doesn't tell you when it was cast though. And a screwed together base, but this one has a nice colorful interior with two different seats, actually two different seat moldings, two different color seats as well, and then you know, a little silver in the mirror there, and they just have a lot of cool details. But I think a lot has to do with they were an Australian company, so they did a lot of Australian cars, and I didn't grow up in that hemisphere of the world, so I knew nothing about these cars. So it's kind of like a double whammy. A, they make a good model, or made a good model, and then B, they made good models of cars I never knew about, so I learned a lot, you know, by collecting a few of them. Alright, so Biantes, I would say any of their classic ones are great, or probably any of them. Alright, back to Kyosho, we have a Mazda RX 500, and Kyosho has done such an extensive amount of 1/64 scale models. Just like that Karabo I showed you earlier, they made castings of such random cars that no one would have guessed that they would financially make sense to make. But they made this one, and it has a good amount of details for something that was probably like $6 when it was brand new. Beyond the two-tone paint job that's well executed, most Kyoshos, actually all Kyoshos, have specific wheels to the castings. So these are the wheels that would have come on this concept car. This one also has a spare wheel in the back engine bay, right? So it's just, and then they always have, well, 90% of the time they have plastic tail lights and plastic headlights, so that's why I really like them. And very often they have mirrors as well, so that is this guy here. And so again, I don't recall ever seeing this car, or I don't remember what it was, so it was by collecting that I, you know, discovered or rediscovered this guy. Alright. And then Kyosho, don't forget, they do a whole lot of F1 cars. This is my favorite F1 car, this Tyrrell six-wheeler, P34 I believe it was called. Yeah, I mean, it's got 6 wheels. Of course they make plenty of normal looking F1 cars as well, and I have a few of those in my video collection, but this is my favorite one, so a lot of cool details again. And probably less than $6 or $10 at most when it was brand new. Alright, another recent review is this Kyosho Ferrari 512 BBLM. So I'm not going to talk too much about this one since I just reviewed it, but you know, the screen printing on the rear glass, there's a giant cavity behind the rear engine, and then the paint jobs on these Kyoshos are all mostly 90%, 95% are using tampo printing. They're not using decals. Some of the F1 cars might. So, you know, tampo printing is better for longevity. They don't crack or look wrinkly. You know, so that's why I like Kyosho. All right. And the very last one is one of my favorite extinct brands. It probably is my favorite extinct brand, CM's model. CM's had a whole line of rally cars, and this is the Fiat 131 Abarth Rally, and it just looks awesome to me. This one in particular, it's actually not very accurate in dimensions compared to the Kyosho, but it just has 6 plastic headlights going on and fog lights, so there's 8 pieces of plastic in the front end of this thing, and then it has a little roll cage, and you know, the wheels are specific to the casting. It's just a really well done die cast. So CM's did a really good job when they were around. This model probably cost less than $10 when it was brand new, and so it's fantastic. Okay, so that is, hold on here. So there we have it for the past 13 months. These are some of my top 10 or my favorite 1/64 scale castings that really can't buy anymore. Although it is possible that with the Minichamps, maybe they'll just release, all their older castings, which would be great. And Kyosho still does, I believe, sell new product. They just don't really push much of it. You can definitely buy a lot of new ones in the crystal boxes, but I feel that they're overpriced for what you're getting. The newer brands are just, they've beaten out Kyosho in the detail department for less money. So, but if you love their cars, I mean, they are nice castings, so that's why the majority of my collection is Kyosho, by far, actually. Okay, well, so stay tuned. Later in the week, I will put out some new price categories. I'm going to do one for like Hot Wheels. I'm going to do one for models less than $10. I'm going to do one for models less than $20, then $30, and then the unlimited class. And then I'm going to do a top 10 of the worst buys of the year, which, if you watch my channel, I'm generally quite angry because I get let down a lot. But most of these models are not let downs. That's why you're seeing them spinning here. Okay, thanks. See you guys. Bye.